as you mentioned, my name's Drew Gore. I'm the owner of OneIndiana Financial Group, OneIndiana Tax and Accounting, and OneIndiana Property and Casualty. I'm also a GA for One America. And to your question, which is a great question because it is this topic, right? This extended care topic is a worry of just a lot of people because of their personal experiences, right? That people go through when they deal with this with a family member. So when someone, really wants to look into this, the things that long-term care policies cover are really when someone needs care, right? Or what we define, or what an insurance company defines most of the time, right, as 2 activities of daily living of the 6, right, that we take for granted probably on a daily basis that we do daily. And so all those things include the bathing, dressing, transferring, continence, meal prep or feeding, along with cognitive, things like Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. Those are things that the extended care policies cover. But the reason that people look right into these types of conversations is really because they want to control their own decisions as they get older. And these are heartbreaking sometimes conversations, right, to have, because people have lived their life and they've done what they wanted to do, and now as medicine's gotten better and we live longer, it's all great, right? These are just parts of life conversations that now we're living through. And unfortunately, right, if things have not been talked through or prepared, right, in a proper conversation and in a non-threatening conversation, right, that's easy, some of these things can become very difficult as people reach these stages. And so, as you look at long-term care policies, it's really about protecting against the consequences of what this occurs, but also leveraging, someone else's money. And those are all deeper conversations to have, but that's what a long-term care policy covers.
When is a good time, Drew, for a person to even start to research or look into buying a long-term care policy? Or is there that window of time that really makes sense? At what age and at what point in your life should you consider that option?
So great question, Kendra. When should someone consider, right, this type of a conversation? And the answer is usually, right, when someone gets closer to the age of 50, all the way up to 85. And that, again, that just depends on the characteristics of a policy or who you're having conversation with and helping with this planning. But those then go deeper, right, into a conversation of, is it asset protection conversation? Is it a financial planning conversation? And again, those have 2 different meanings as well. And so when you're looking at risk management, right, risk management is literally just the definition. And we do this on a daily basis of all the other insurances that we have on risk management, but of what we consider or what we want to protect against, right, of what is unacceptable to us. And again, that can be defined many different ways. We all do it on a daily basis, right? But that's what extended care is. And so when you talk about financial planning, right, that might mean, hey, listen, if I'm married or if I have someone that I'm close with, if one of us goes into care, what's our income look like? What does that look like where, hey, do I want to make sure if someone goes into care that the other spouse, right, can still live life, where all the money is not maybe going to pay for someone's care? Well, that's an easy conversation, right? And that's why who you have this conversation with matters. And so, when you say, hey, when should I look at it? It's all over the board, but it really comes down to, what are you trying to do? What's the intention of your conversation, and what's the intention, right, of what do you want to make sure happens for the big picture?
And in my experience, Drew, it just makes a world of difference when you have the opportunity to have those conversations, have them as early on in your life, because you just never know. You can never anticipate when something's going to happen and when that does happen, but planning, know what you're going to do, just takes a lot of stress off, because typically it's a stressful situation or a life event when it happens and you do that. And it's just always so helpful to have those things in place and understand what options you have. Yeah. And if you're going to look for a long-term care policy, Drew, where should someone start? Do you just Google? Do you talk to an insurance broker? Kind of what does that look like, and what type of resources are out there for individuals?
Yeah, great question. Another thing people think through or worry about, right, or how to do it. Mm-hmm. It's all the above, right? It usually starts with someone that you know or trust that's in this world of financial planning. But it also, my recommendation is find out or search out a fiduciary. A fiduciary has all the proper credentials. They also usually understand how everything interacts together. So whether it's the retirement income distribution strategies, which is your cash flow, which actually goes right into this conversation, or the tax side or the risk management side, that's where we would start. And that's how I would recommend, everyone else to start for a full conversation. And then also the type of characteristics, right, that are inside of a policy and how it's built and what that company is made up of, whether it's a mutual company or whether it's a stock company, whether decisions from that company are made from the policy holders or the stockholders. Sometimes those can determine, right, how things play out. So the characteristics of a policy matter just as much, Kendra, as you researching who you want to have a conversation with. And so whether you have lifetime benefits, whether you have guaranteed premiums that can't rise, right? Whether making sure, right, you can have two people on the same policy, whether you can have different types of options of how to fund a policy, all of this matters. And that's where I would start. And it's easy conversation from there.